Okay, so like I said, mine will look a little bit different because I don't have all the steps written down. I'm going through. Step 1, 8. What does it tell me to do? Find the axis of symmetry. Michael Carney, how do I find the axis of symmetry? Okay, and what do I use to find the x?
X equals b over a squared, or a times negative b over a times 2.
There we go. Negative b over 2a. To find the axis of symmetry, you've got a little bit of room there. X equals negative b over 2a. And now, b, Cindy, what is our b value?
Our b value is 6.
6, so it becomes,
6.
well, when I plug it in, the negative goes in front of it, so yes. And what is my a value?
1.
1. So it becomes 2 times 1. All right, now if you just type this into your calculator, some people were having issues with this. I think it might have been in, I don't know if it was this class or, like if you type it in like it looks, that is wrong. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, you got lucky. That was right. Okay. Because 2 times 1 is 2. Negative 6 divided by 2 is negative 3. But in some cases, you got to watch it because that's a 1. It ends up being correct. But you end up with negative 3. We want to write it as x equals negative 3. Don't just write negative 3. Write x equals negative 3. All right. Graph the axis of symmetry. See where it's highlighted? Dotted line. So you go to negative 3. Now I'm going to use my little line tool here, but you go ahead. Okay. So you got negative 3. And then don't worry about anything else. Yeah. Step 2. John Smith, what's step 2 say? Remember, all right, who can tell me how to find the vertex? Okay, John? Yep, right in that spot there. You plug in negative 3. So you get y equals negative 3 goes in for x. So it becomes negative 3 squared plus 6 times negative 3 plus 8. Okay, plus 8. All right, now you simplify that. Now make sure you put the negative 3 in parentheses. Styles, did you figure out what it is?
No.
No. Well, go ahead. I'll let you.
Negative 1.
All right, you got negative 1. We agree? Because that's 9 minus 18 plus 8. So I get y equals negative 1. So my vertex is negative 3 for the x, negative 1 for the y. All right, what does it say to do that below there? It says to graph the vertex. But we're going to graph it over there on the right-hand side. Negative 3, negative 1. That should be right on the axis of symmetry. It should be right on there. Find the y-intercept. Step 3, up there on the right. Zane, do you remember how to find the y-intercept? Say that again.
It goes through the y-axis.
So where it goes through the y-axis, but for this equation, do you know what the y-intercept would be? No. Okay. All right. This is key. You know what? Because it's not hard. All you should be able to look at this equation and tell me what it is.
8.
8. The y-intercept is always the constant. Oops. Hold on. It's always that right there. Okay. As long as the one without the x. That is always the case. So your y-intercept, and it is the ordered pair, 0, 8. Or was it negative 8? Positive 8. And now what's it say? Okay, find the y-intercept. You can plot that point as well, 0, 8. All right, step 4 always tends to be the hardest one. Choose two x values on the same side of the axis of symmetry as the point containing the y-intercept. All right, the y-intercept, is it on the right or is it on the left of the axis of symmetry? Right. You need to pick the two. We're going to do just a small xy chart of 2 points only. They have to be as the closest ones to the axis of symmetry. Okay, the closest ones to the axis of symmetry. -2, -1. You cannot use 0 because that is the y-intercept. Because go to the right, do -2, use -1. You need to plug those both into your equation and see what you get. All right, do that now. Now, don't forget, this needs to make a U, and when you plot those, it doesn't look like it's gonna be a U, then you got issues. Riley, what'd you have for your points?
I got -2, 0, and -1, 3.
-2, 0, and -1, 3. -2, 0, -1, 3. All right, that looks like a U to me. Now, the last step, step 5, it says reflect those points and connect them with a smooth curve. Reflect them around what? Across the axis of symmetry. So remember, there's a mirror. That axis of symmetry, everything on the right side has to be pop up on the left side. So you need to figure out how far away from that dotted line it is. So for the point -2, 0, it's 1 unit away. You go 1 unit to the other side. 2 units away, go 2 units to the other side. 3 units, 3 units. Now connect it. Connect it with a smooth curve. Okay. All those steps are there. It lays them out. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5. Okay? And then, yeah, there's spots you're going to make mistakes, but you should need to be able to look back on this and do the steps. All right, that bottom one there, I'm going to not do that one. Okay, flip it over on the back. Okay. Now, okay. When you have one of these where they find like how high it goes and when it hits the ground, there's a couple things going on here. Look at the big part at the top, okay, where it says the height of feet in a soccer ball. Okay, in those balloons, it says the height at 0 seconds is 0 feet. That's always going to be the case. The vertex is the maximum height. That's always going to be the case. And then the height at 2 seconds is 0 feet. That's when it hits the ground. So it's going to be in the air for 2 feet because that's always going to be the case. Really, all we need to know is the vertex. That's the key thing. Now, all right, let's look at the one on the bottom. It says the height and feet of a rocket launched straight up in the air can be modeled by the function f of t equals -16 t squared plus 96 t, right? All right, find the time it takes the rocket to reach a maximum height. All right, what I need you to do is find the vertex. Find some room on the left, below it. Find the vertex. And so what was that function, f of t equals -16 t squared plus 96 t. All right, that means you do x equals -b over 2a. B is 96, so it's -96. 2a is -16. What's -96? All right, you got 2 times -16. I would do that first. Riley, what'd you end up with?
I got for x equals 3.
All right, x equals 3, good. All right, and then, so you get positive 3. And now plug in 3. So f of 3 equals negative 16, 3 squared, plus 96 times 3. And Isabella, what'd you get?
432 feet.
Ooh, I think that's a little big.
That's
You get 432?
144.
Did you put a negative in front of the 16?
Oh, I didn't do negative 44, 144.
Plus 96 times 3. So 144. 144. Okay. So I got the point. 3, 144. That is our what? That is our vertex. All right, so go to your graph over here. Whoops. Okay. Put at 3. Now I know you don't have your graph on there. Put at 3 the axis of symmetry. Okay. And go up to 144. Put a dot. Now, for all of these problems where you're kicking a ball or you're shooting a rocket up or you're throwing something, at t equals 0, the height is 0. This one's released. So that means you're going to get a near point directly across from that axis of symmetry. So that should be there at 6. And then connect up through your vertex. Connect up through your vertex, okay? All right, now we got to answer the question. Find the time it takes to reach the maximum height. That would be what?
3 seconds.
3 seconds. 3 seconds. Find the rocket's maximum height, which is, those are both obtained from the, what do we call it, the vertex. And like I said, once you know the vertex, you can take 3 seconds to get to the top. It's going to take how many seconds to get back down to the ground?
6.
Another 3. So a total of 6. So you always double that. So how long was the rocket in the air? It was in there for 6 seconds. Okay. All right, well, you got the front, you got the back. Okay. What I want to do is make sure you had time here so that I can help you if needed. And you want to get what do I got going on?
Thank you.
How do you know if we?
You just doing that too.
I don't find this is the negative one.
So the listeners should use no full. I throw in this notes too.
They're both practice deep.
I haven't done
both sides.
So we're,
I didn't.
so we're negative 1 now?
What's that?
Well, that-
Okay, on the first 3 are the on the front, 1, 2, 3, flip it over to the back real quick. Just so we're all on the same page. Number 5, all right, see how it's ordered? What does it say for number 5? It says y minus 8x. We want the y by itself, so when you add 8x, you put the 8x after the x squared. So this is what it should look like for 5. So write that above there. Okay, write that above there. All right, when you get number 1, just let me see it. Like if you know you're right, then move on to the next one.
Should we do that? We're doing the whole thing.
Yes, front and back, the front and back. Gotcha. So get done like here, I'm hoping you get done with like at least the front before you leave. And if you get stuck, I'll be able to help you.